Good evening, everyone. The meeting of the Santa Clara Valley Open Space Authority Board of Directors is now called to order at 6:35 p.m. Call roll.
Director Kenneth, not present. Director Flaher.
Here.
Director Chapman.
Here.
Director Sutherland. Here. Director Alexander.
Here.
Director Potter, not present. Director Gill.
Here.
This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons desiring to address the board on any matter not on the agenda. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Do we have any speakers in Zoom? Seen here?
If there are any speakers or any guests joining us via Zoom who would like to comment on any matter not on the agenda, you may raise your hand now. There are none.
All right. I will now move to an announcement regarding the items to be discussed in closed session will be made prior to closed session.
Good evening, Madam Chair. There's one item in closed session, conference with real property negotiator, the details of which are on the agenda.
Thank you so much. All right. We will convene to closed session. We're officially back from closed session. Is there anything to report?
No report, Madam Chair.
The next item is the approval of the minutes from January 9th. And I will recuse myself if there is not present.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion for the January 9th meeting minutes, moved by Director Alexander with a second by Director Gill.
Director Flaher is not present. Marking as abstain.
Will you ping somebody?
Director Chapman,
I'm abstaining, I was not present.
Director Sutherland, not here.
Well, then, we'll confess.
You
can vote on it.
Yeah. You wanna?
Huh?
Ping somebody? You wanna go pretend? No. No.
Right.
I just realized, yeah, I wasn't there. I thought, right, come on. Okay, okay. They're coming. They're coming, okay. Okay. They're going on me. That's okay. Okay.
Shall we repeat the motion in a second?
Yeah, so we have a motion to approve the January 9th meeting minutes, which is moved by Director Alexander and second by Director Gill. Your turn to vote.
Yes. Director Alexander,
Yes.
Director Potter,
Yes.
Director Gill,
Yes. Yes.
and Director Flaher, do you want to vote for the minutes?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That passes. Thank you. All right. Now we have approval of the consent items. Anybody wishing to pull any items in consent? Hearing none, I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent items.
Motion to approve the consent items.
A second?
We have a motion to approve consent items 1 and 2, moved by Walker with a second by Director Potter.
Director Flaher,
Yes.
Director Chapman,
Yes.
Director Sutherland,
Yes.
Director Alexander,
Yes.
Director Potter,
Yes.
Director Gill.
Yes.
Okay, that motion passes unanimously. Great. All right, now we are on to new business, which is the fun part of the year. This is to review the current open space authority committees for 2024 and appointment of board and staff liaisons for 2025. Carolyn, you have a short presentation?
Thank you, Director. So this item is reviewing the current open space authority committees for 2024 and appointment of board and staff liaisons for 2025. And so tonight, the recommendation would be staff recommend that the board chair lead the discussion of the standing committee assignments to the open space authority board committees, as well as the non-authority bodies for 2025. Evaluate the need for additional ad hoc committees or dissolution of any any committees, and to add or remove any organizations from the list. And so to be helpful, the current committee assignments are in your packet. But I also have it displayed here on the screen. And these are the current committee assignments for board committees. Through the chair, if you want to proceed, we'll start with board committees first.
Okay. Shall we start from the top with the ABC committee? Okay, which is currently by myself, Director Alexander and Director Gill. And thank you, my colleagues, for putting me in the chair for another year. Oh, I'm not here, but thank you very much. I do appreciate that. So, that would put me on the ABC committee along with Director Alexander. So I'm recommending we just keep it the same. Does anybody have any objections? No? Okay. Land use and stewardship. So we do have a vacancy on that one because Director Animal has stepped off. So, and that is led by Director Potter, with Director Kennett. Director Potter, are you still interested in being chair?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anybody that would like to be on that committee? This is your chance to say yay.
Yes, I would.
Okay, then anybody else or just Director Sutherland would like to be on land use committee? I think you'll enjoy it. Okay, then we will add Director Sutherland in lieu of Director Animal. Keep going here. Okay, then we have the ad hoc committee for grant programs. That is in effect. Oh, I'm looking at this list. I'm gonna go back to this one. Sorry. Yes, Citizens Advisory Committee. That one, we do have done opening, which is Director Animal is now left. So, Director Gill is the alternate. Is there somebody that would like to be in lieu of Director Animal?
If nobody else is interested, I would like to continue with this.
And Director Gill, you want to be as alternate, or do you want to arm wrestle?
Arm wrestle is better, right?
I stand back.
No, if she like it, that no problem.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we will,
No arm wrestle.
no arm wrestling tonight, okay, so then we will Director
Yes.
Sutherland
Yes.
and Director Gill will stay on as alternate. Okay. Okay, now we're gonna go on to the other one, trying to match my list here. Okay, the ad hoc committee for urban open space grant guidelines review, and that is currently active for this year. Okay, just making sure. Okay, again, we have an opening because Director Animal was on that committee. Is there anybody wishing to be on that committee?
It's a fun committee.
I served on it my first 2 years. It is fun.
Because I've just served on it, or I've been engaged with it from the CAC side, I'd love to fill that role.
If you
Nobody else wants it.
Okay. And Director Alexander, Director Flaher, you still want to be on the committee?
Yes.
Which one is it?
This is the ad hoc committee for urban open space grant review. Yes, you and I served 1 year together on that. All right, so we'll just replace Director Annabelle with Director Sutherland. Okay, then the ad hoc committee for financial sustainability, I believe that one is set, correct? And we did that appointment. We've already put Director Sutherland on. Okay, so let's get that one. Oversight committee, none. Okay, so that takes care of those. Did I miss any? We can move on to board liaison.
Correct.
Okay, Bay Area Ridge Trail, Director Flaher, this is your passion. Is it still your passion?
Really?
As long as I've known you, this been your passion, so. Okay, Director Gill, you want to stay on as alternate?
Yeah, no arm wrestle.
All right, so
I'll find someone.
you'll find something, okay. All right, County Park Commission. That was, we do have a vacancy on that, Director Ann will serve that. So, Director Alexander, do you want to be not alternate? Do you want to be on the commission? Do you want to be the?
I have, a standing obligation on Wednesday nights when they meet, so I would prefer not to, I can be an alternate.
You want to stay as alternate? Okay, if there's somebody that would like to be on the County Park Commission.
Can I ask, when do they meet?
Wednesday evening, is it every couple of months?
They don't meet very often, do they?
I'm looking right now.
And I think it's like.
Oh,
fairly early in the evening.
I have it as the second Monday of each month at 7. Is that incorrect?
It used to, when I was doing it, it was Wednesday.
We'll have to double check, but it's either Wednesday or the second Monday at 7 PM.
And then I think I have a question for Bill. I'm on the County Airports Commission. Is that? Am I allowed to be on more than one for the county?
My gut reaction is yes. I have to think about it a little bit. I don't know if the county has any rules about that. So you may want to ask council of it. But off the top of my head, it's not an incompatibility of office issue. Probably consider up to separate.
And look at my calendar too. It's the second Monday.
I will double check that for you, but that's, my understanding.
But if somebody else wanted to do it, I would be more than.
The Wednesday that was the conference or was the second Monday? of the conference?
No, it's the Wednesday, that's the conference.
Oh, so if it's a Monday that's in, does that work better for you?
Good.
I can go to their website,
If you wanna,
you can circle back to
shall we
me.
move on and then you can
Yeah.
double check that one while, okay, cause that, we could sort that one out that way. Okay, so Salt Pond Restoration Forum,
And actually, through the chair, I have a little bit of information about that committee. They are planning a meeting this year and a tour mid-year. So there will be at least one tour and one meeting.
okay. I would say that wasn't a committee, I think that had a lot of activity.
No.
So, Director Alexander, would you like to be the
Sure.
liaison? Okay. Do we need an alternate if there's a meeting?
We better not miss that.
Right, that would be the only concern.
Director Potter, would you like to be the alternate just in case?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, special districts, is myself, I would like to stay on. They have a feeling they're gonna nominate me to be chair. And I'm current vice chair, so it's usually a big trajectory. And alternate, Director Party want to be on as alternate or you want to stay on that? Okay. And that one is quarterly. LAFCO is me, I'd like to stay on as LAFCO. Oh, farms. Okay. Farm Bureau, that's Director Kennett and Director Gill. Farmers. I know, Matt, yeah, I think he likes that one, yeah. Leave it that way? Okay, all right. I think that's. And, okay, so leave it at LAFCO. All right, Santa Clara County Sustainability Commission, is that one meeting? I think they've had one meeting. Yeah, all right, so we're still, Director Alexander, you wanna stay on?
Yeah.
I don't think they've had much activity. Okay. Habitat Agency, that is Director Kennett and Director Potter.
Sure.
Sir, you wanna take over from Director Kennett, or you wanna keep it as is?
I think as is good.
Okay, she's right. Okay, he's not here, so he's just gonna get signed. Okay, Water Commission.
You want to be stay there or you want to be switch there?
You're okay. I was also gonna suggest that maybe, Director Sutherland might want to, maybe you wanna be alternate, and Director Sutherland could be if there's.
No, I'm there.
Or you're there, or you wanna stay on?
Yeah.
Oh, we got the arm wrestling now, okay?
No, not, I'm asking him if he want to be stay.
You wanna stay on this, you want to switch, you want him to be the position and you be the alternate?
Or you want,
that would be.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Because I know, cause, you know, they're moving more to in-person and sometimes, you know, those
Let's do this way.
are, okay.
No arm wrestle, just
No arm
just
wrestle. So
mutual
Director-
understanding.
Director Gill would like to be the, okay.
Yeah.
And that one, we make sure we notify, because they're, keep sending me emails, and I'm like, I haven't done this commission in a couple of years. I think there's an upcoming meeting too.
I did it yesterday.
You went yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, all right.
Sure,
Yes.
if Director Sutherland would like to be the alternate to the Habitat Agency, that would work out okay for me. Since you're not on any of, or very many of these.
Sure.
I'll be the alternate to Alex.
I'd be happy to, okay? Yes, okay, Valley Water Agricultural Water Advisory Committee,
Just leave the way it is.
leave it the way it is, okay. All right. We can put it. Now we need to go back to the county park commission.
Okay, it has been verified as the first Wednesday of every other month, starting February at 6:30 PM.
So that is a conflict for you, okay, so then. Kathy, Director Sutherland will take the place of Director Animal. Okay,
Okay. And Bill, you recommend that I still check in with the county council?
I would just ask if you need assistance, just, contact me offline and we'll figure it out. Again, my gut is it's not gonna be an issue, but
okay.
I just don't know if there's any specific county rules that may apply. So,
Always good to ask and make sure. Okay, have we captured everything? Okay,
And then also wanted to present to you the general manager's appointment for staff liaisons for both board committees and non-authority bodies. Which is also in your report.
okay.
And also I wanted to add that following the appointments, the finalization of the appointments, I'll be reaching out to the clerks of each of these committees to let them know that of their new appointments, and staff will be made aware of their expectations as the staff liaison.
Fabulous. Okay. All right, and we need a formal motion to approve?
Correct.
Okay, so somebody wishes to make a motion to approve the assignments. I'll move. Let me approve.
I'll do second then.
It's up to you guys.
Fine. There we go. Okay, so we have a motion to approve the board committee assignments as appointed by the chair for this year. Moved by Director Sutherland with a second by Director Gill.
Director Flaher,
Do you approve?
Yes.
Director Chapman,
Yes.
Director Sutherland,
Yes.
Director Alexander,
Yes.
Director Potter,
Yes.
Director Gill.
Yes.
That motion passed unanimously. Thank you all for such a cordial, non-arm wrestling.
That's good, actually.
It's good, it's good, it's nice, and it's,
Third time's the charm.
yeah. Okay, now we are on to. We are to receive a presentation. Oh, was there any public comment? I'm sorry, no public comment. I'm gonna have to get through the field of me. Okay, all right, now we are on to receiving a presentation on the new open space board. Barbara is trying to lead us on, and I believe. Mark also would like to.
Good evening, directors. Charlotte Graham, Public Information Officer for the Open Space Authority. Anna Marie is going to come up in a minute and give a presentation on the new website. But before she does, I would like to acknowledge her exceptional work on this project. Might have a hard time looking at you. I might not be able to look at you. Our website is the agency's primary source of information. It's our primary communication tool for the agency and for the communities that we serve. It's a critical informational resource, and it's often the first introduction or interaction that people have with the Open Space Authority. So Anna Marie's dedication and her outstanding project management skills were really fundamental to completing this project, working towards that goal of creating this tool for everyone, both within a very ambitious timeline, as well as within the approved budget, which you're going to hear about in a minute. So to accomplish this, Anna Marie had to coordinate with departments and managers all across the agency, both on design and content. And it's quite a big lift if you've ever worked on a website before. It's a lot. So if you couldn't tell from her previous presentations, Anna Marie approached this project with a lot of enthusiasm, but also a vision for creating something better. A website that effectively serves everyone and that is designed with intentionality and to create a more inclusive and accessible experience. Okay, I don't know if I can look at you, sorry. Anna Marie, your meticulous attention to detail and your outstanding leadership on this project from inception to completion until now, it continues to elevate our agency, our professionalism. So thank you so much for helping us set a new standard of excellence. And so I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Anna Marie to come up and show you our new website, the completion of our website redesign work plan project.
I just thought I was going to get introduced. So it's so nice. Thanks, Charlotte. And good evening, members of the board. Anna Marie Plon, Multimedia Communications Specialist. So let's jump into the new website. In September, we presented an update on our work plan project to build this new site. So I just wanted to take a second and say thank you to all of you for providing all the feedback you did, because it really helped us move through that final stage of the site and actually get it launched on time. Now that the site's been live for a little over a month, I just want to present kind of our biggest successes and takeaways and just walk you through some of the things we're most excited about with this site. We'll have time for questions at the end, but of course, if something really urgent pops up, feel free to ask me in the middle. So background, we shared basically this timeline back in September with you, but of course now it's updated. We're really happy with how the RFP process went, and really the due diligence we did during that process landed us this vendor, Rooted, who we've just loved working with. And then just to move back, sorry about that, a reminder that our old website was really limiting us. It was built on this really specific kind of archaic in some ways system that was limiting who we could work with, the updates we could do, and it was ultimately making even small updates kind of expensive and time consuming for staff. So anyway, now moving back. So we went through the RFP process, landed us this great vendor, Rooted. We built it over the past year. And then we launched it officially in mid-December before the holidays. December, we're still kind of thinking of it as a soft launch. The new site is live. You can go and check it out, but we haven't done any major promotions yet, which has been awesome. It's given us this opportunity for a lot of feedback and QA and kind of seeing how it works in the wild before we're pushing it out on the big scale. So we want to thank you all again for the feedback you provided in September, because we did get a lot of feedback then about really dedicating this kind of post-launch time to basically try to break things, try to find bugs, and get that improvement before we do this really hard launch. Okay, so going into some of the specific improvements about this site. Previously, our structure and organization of the site was kind of confusing. There were some weird things in the navigation. For example, you can see above, like, our work and programs and public information and about us those all kind of mean similar things for someone. We did also do a user experience audit, a really in-depth one in 2023. And we got some of that feedback that the navigation is confusing, it's not intuitive. We also saw that people were missing filters to look for things. There wasn't really clear storytelling throughout the site. And some things were even getting lost, like the search bar or where to go to get the information they needed. So we updated all that. It's now way more concise. We went through this really extensive discovery process and strategy process internally to find the best new navigation. On all the pages, we have the most important information first so people can get in, get what they need, and avoid any frustration. But then we kept what users and what we loved about the old site. So it's still really inviting and warm. It doesn't really look like what you would think of as a stereotypical boring government site. That overall look and feel, we still have this beautiful hero image that invites people in and gives people a really beautiful snapshot of what we do. So the preserve pages, our analytics and that user experience audit showed us always that visiting preserves is basically the main or one of the major reasons to visit the site. So we really wanted to focus and put a lot of care on improving those preserve pages. Before, again, they were some of the information that was really useful for visitors was hidden. There weren't even a lot of imagery or photos to show people what the preserve looked like and set them up for a good visit. So now we have our most important information right at the top. So things like hours, important notices, amenities, and then as you go down the page, and now we're kind of getting into storytelling, you can get some more details about the preserve. So history, funding, these beautiful videos that we've now incorporated. And that those videos are just one aspect of how we've gotten to add way more imagery into the site. So now we have these 1-minute videos. Basically, they're kind of almost like little advertisements about the preserve. But we also aren't limited anymore by the templates that we used to be limited by. So we can have as many photos as we want showing the preserve in different seasons and the different trails. Again, really inviting people and getting them excited about visiting these places. And then we also have related events. So now people, if they go to the Sierra Vista Preserve, Sierra Vista Open Space Preserve page, they can now go and say, okay, what are upcoming events? Maybe I don't want to visit on my own, but oh, look, there's a docent-led hike happening later this month. There's also funding, which I mentioned before, really excited to scatter that throughout the site. So it ties people back to the measures and how we're investing in nature. Something that I'm personally really excited about and proud of with this new site is how much more accessible and inclusive it is compared to our old site. One of the things I think all of us are most excited about is this site is now fully, well, I should say there's a translation option. So we have Spanish, Vietnamese, Chinese, Filipino, and Hindi, so that people can translate the whole site into the language that they prefer. Right now, that language widget, it's a hybrid of auto translation, but it also allows manual transcreation. So we can go in and override some of the auto translations with phrases and words that are more culturally relevant across languages. We're actually right now in the process of doing some user testing with our with one of our consultants for non-English speakers to go in and test things out. And that will help us identify opportunities for, again, some improved translations we can do. Accessibility, continuing on, our site is now better meeting our WCAG standards, which is just the standard of accessibility for a website. We have compliant colors now. There's enough contrast for people that might have visual impairments. Fonts are more compliant, or they are compliant now. There's alt text on all of the photos. And then we still have our Moncito accessibility widget. It's that purple person, which allows people to go in and do things like change the font if they need it, change the size of different things. And then on top of accessibility, we really wanted to go into the content of the site and really look at it with that Jediah lens. We had this opportunity kind of in some ways starting from scratch with the imagery to completely choose new images. And so really focusing on representation in imagery, choosing to display people coming from all different backgrounds and walks of life. We have a new visitors page that's specifically directed towards people that might be new to nature. So really welcoming them in and giving them all the resources and encouragement they might need to connect with nature in their open spaces. And then we still have Moncito as it's a software that we use too that's doing ongoing scans of the site. So it's continuously identifying places where we can make things even more accessible and make sure things are staying up to standard. The event section I'll go by pretty quick because this is something I covered in September and it's basically the same. But I should mention that right now, the new site has much better event integration. So before, all of our events were tied to just Eventbrite, if you're familiar with that event platform, which was great in some ways because it kind of took the work out for us, but it limited in that if we were hosting an event not through Eventbrite, it wouldn't show up on our website. So anything through Zoom or that you didn't have to register for, or just a different registration platform wouldn't show up. So now we have total control over it. And on top of that, we have incorporated filters. So people can now filter by location, by the type of event, by the time of day. And on top of that, now our events page incorporates every kind of event, every way you could connect with us. So things like board meetings are now up there, volunteer opportunities, drop-in events, virtual programs. It's all there. It's this one-stop shop for people to come take that extra step and interact with the Open Space Authority. Moving on to the resource library. So this is actually a good case study of how important it was to really do a thorough strategy phase with internal discussions. Because initially we were even considering taking out the resource library. It was a little bit clunky. It was hard for people to navigate. It was basically any document that we had on the site organized in these somewhat confusing categories. But when we were doing a lot of internal discussions and strategy, we realized how important this tool was, especially for internal staff. It was where people would go to look at a report or find the employee handbook, different policies. So we decided, okay, we're going to keep it, but we're really going to make sure we refresh it and make it even better to use for people. So now, again, we're using filters. So now people can actually search for the document instead of just having to scroll and scroll and scroll. We have thumbnails. So maybe you don't even know what the name of the report is, but you know what it looks like. You can find it now. We have filtering by topics and preserves, all that good stuff. It's just much more easy for people to use and to actually get the resources they need. So moving on to our funding page, which is in some ways a completely new page. And actually, this page came directly from a suggestion we'd gotten from the board back in September to combine what was our old financials page and our old investing in nature page into one cohesive funding page that includes the information about our funding measures and mechanisms, and also has all of our financial documents. And again, this steady message of investing in nature throughout. We also included feedback from the Expenditure Plan Oversight Committee to make this page much more discoverable and findable throughout the site. So not only is it linked to directly in the navigation, it's a one click from the nav, but it's also linked in different, anytime we mention funding on the site. So I mentioned there's a funding section in preserves, that goes here. The grants page, it goes here. The homepage, public access projects, it all takes people back here so they can see the measures and other funding mechanisms that are making our work possible. Another completely new page that us in comms are pretty excited about is this press room. Before, we didn't have anything like this, but it's really a new page that elevates us and really gives us different authority and credibility as a newsworthy, influential agency. So it's a place where the press can get in touch with us. It's also the place where you can find our latest news and newsletters, press releases, any kind of resources you might need to connect with us on a press or news level. And then lastly, just some additional improvements and updates that we're excited about. One thing that we wanted to do much better on this website compared to our old one is really highlight all the important reports and studies that are so influential to our work. So things like the Santa Clara Santa Clara County Ag Plan, Healthy Lands, Healthy Economies, the Green Print. They're scattered again very strategically throughout the site. So whenever we're talking about agriculture, we're definitely going to mention the Ag Plan and link to it, et cetera, et cetera. And then, of course, they're all found in the resource library as well. We have more consistent blog branding. So not to get too in the weeds, but before our blog was actually hosted through a different software called HubSpot, which led to some inconsistent branding. Now it's all hosted on Drupal with the rest of our site, which makes just a lot more cohesive. I'm excited about our history page. We've updated it with these really cool interactive timelines that I'm kind of a history nerd, so I get to include all of those cool clippings of our archive of the agency's history. And it's giving us lots more ability to recognize our funders, excuse me, and then opportunities for more of that in the future. Our grants page is a lot more intuitive now and hopefully easy for people to navigate in our next upcoming grant cycle. And then on top of that, just the ease of all the updates for us is in just the month that it's been live has been like night and day for me, who used to spend so much time updating the old website. It's just, again, it's night and day. It's a different experience. It's half the time it used to take me before. So, and there's more. There's more if you, hopefully some of you have gotten the chance to check out the website at this point, but if you haven't, please go and see all the new stuff. So some key takeaways for this site. Like I mentioned before, it was a really successful RFP process, and it was really testament to doing our due diligence from the start to give us this great experience working with a vendor who we really enjoyed. We stayed within budget, so the work plan project is complete. It was on schedule, which we're very proud of. And then on top of all that, the new site is really going to help us reach the goals of the mission in a more effective and efficient way. Like I mentioned before, it's easier for us to update, to manage, and we're also able to actually train more staff on it. So it was really limiting us because it was so complex and a little bit counterintuitive. But now with this really easy to use site, there's more and more staff members that we can bring on board and have them in the back end with us, which of course is going to be a cost saving just because it's easier to manage and more effective. But then on top of that, our actual maintenance plan that we're continuing with Rooted is less expensive than the maintenance plan we had previously with our old site. And then on top of that, actually, I'm happy that we've had no public inquiries at this point, to our knowledge, with any negative feedback about the site since it's launched. No one's reached out that something's hard to find or they're lost. So for us, that no news is good news. And I'm excited to see how that continues when we actually do a bigger amount of promos. On that note, that's what's going to be hopefully coming up next. As we were talking with Rooted, now again, moving into our maintenance and support phase of the website, they let us know, and we agree with this, that the next 3 to 6 months are going to be really, really important for improvements as visitors continue to interact more with the site and as the launch is still really fresh on our minds. Timeline for the new website promotions, we're looking at the next probably 1 to 3 months. So we're still fleshing out what the rollout will actually look like. But I should mention that we are already directing people to the new site through just existing promotions for other campaigns and initiatives. For example, we're going to be celebrating Lunar New Year, directing people to the site. The impact report that has just come out last week is linking to the site throughout. So people are coming to see the site, and our analytics are reflecting that. I also mentioned before, we're now in our management phase with Rooted. We really appreciate that they have this focus on what they call incremental improvement. So it's all about this targeted investment and thinking of extending the life of our website. So we're not looking at years anymore, we're looking at decades. This is really, really an investment and a good one. And then using data to drive all of our decisions and not making any arbitrary updates without doing some thorough research before. And then reducing risk. So ongoing testing to make sure that everything is working right and managing all the project scope as they come up. On that note, we're always very, very open and happy to hear the feedback from all of you. Feel free to reach out if you ever have any thoughts or edits or even notice a bug. We're always really happy to fix those as they come up. And like I mentioned before, your feedback in September really helped guide these last few months. So I'm hoping for more of that as we continue. And yeah, if there's any questions or comments, I'm happy to answer anything.
Thank you. I can tell that you're very excited about this. And I was gonna say, as my husband did a lot of website work and so to have other people be able to go in there and keep up with the maintenance or do tweaks or things. And more than one person, I can see that will be thrilling.
Mhm. Yeah.
I was like, I'm the only one that's going here yet. A lot of people have opinions, but to be able to actually go and do the maintenance work is tough. But that's wonderful. It's great. Any questions from any board members? Oh.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for the opportunity to make some additional remarks. Mark Landgraf, Assistant General Manager. I just wanted to piggyback on Charlotte's earlier comments about the just want to underscore the incredible importance of Anna Marie's leadership on this project. You know, you can tell from her presentation the comprehensive nature of the work that was put into developing an entirely new website. And you also know from what Charlotte was saying and Anna Marie as well, that this is the single most important communication channel for our agency. So it's an extremely important project, but it's also a complicated one because the information on the website touches every staff member at our agency, right? And so collecting all the information as well as opinions. And sometimes those opinions might be conflicting with each other. You have to sort through all of that, integrate all the information from the user experience audit, work with the consultants and what they're suggesting be done, make sure that all the important information about the board, the Citizens Advisory Committee, our volunteers, all of that is integrated. It's a really difficult job. And so Anna Marie's skills in coordinating and collaborating across the agency on all of that, bringing her creativity into it, and ultimately really the leadership that she provided really made this a success. Bring it in, as she said, on time, under budget. That doesn't happen all the time either, but it was really an amazing effort, and I think we have a great product. So just wanted to mention that.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
It's a tough job, so thank you.
I appreciate it.
It's very heavy lift and under budget is always appreciated. Yeah, that's great. Fabulous. Okay. Any other questions?
I just want to learn a little bit from her because since she has a lot of experience and expertise. I just want to understand about the language translations part.
Mhm.
My experience is just about that part is whenever you just translate from English to any other language, then you cannot make a meaningful sentence on the other language. So what kind of platform you are using and then making sure the other language, whenever they read that, it makes sense to them.
Mm-hmm. Through the chair. So we are using G-Translate, that's the plugin. And the nice thing about it, and you're completely right, that sometimes those auto translates, oftentimes, you just put something into Google Translate, it's not really going to make sense in the other language or it just won't have the same cultural relevance. So the nice thing about G-Translate, which we're using, is that it starts with that automatic translate, but we do have the ability to go in and update it. So it can basically override those auto translates.
You guys has the other language editor to edit anything if you think it's not making any sense, then you can just, so how you know the other language?
Right.
That's the question.
Yeah.
So you have any other persons on that language they can look at that?
We do. So right now we're at the beginning of doing some really, we're doing user testing with multilingual users. So we are we're working with our consultant who is contacting native language speakers and other languages to go in, especially to some key pages that are like the most important pages to us. So the homepage, the preserve pages, I believe, Coyote Valley, the CV Camp project. So they will go in, do user testing, and identify some of those opportunities for us to then go in, work with our translator who's transcreating, again, making things extra culturally relevant, and then we'll go in and
But that's a continued basis, right?
yes, it'll be continued. And hopefully it'll always be continued because we're always going to be looking to make improvements.
Okay, that's good. Other things, how you guys can get the feedback from the community? I didn't see any kind of features there. But I think I had the same question the last time also. So, for example, when I just go on your web page, so I just look at that and then I feel I have to give my comments or feedback to you. So where we can put that?
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question too. So we do have our contact page that allows people to directly contact info@openspaceauthority.org. They can choose a selection of whether it be about the website or about something like they want more information about an event or they noticed something at a preserve that they want to let us know. There's a contact page that goes directly to us, and then we can triage and route to the right
Can you
department.
show me where is the contact page?
Thank you, Ivy. Ivy asked if I would need to actually go to the website today, and I said, no, unless one of the board members asks me to. I can use this one. So thank you for giving me the opportunity. So if you go to our website, there's a few places. It's under About Us and then Contact. And this is where they can contact us, leave any kind of message that they would like
That's
to.
good. That's I want to see that.
Or you can go to the bottom
No,
and
that's
one
it.
click. Okay.
Thank you.
Here you go.
Thank you so much.
Potter, Director Alexander.
Thank you.
It looks great, and I noticed because in the past, I look at board meetings a lot to look at the agenda or whatever, and I have to drill down, and now it's just there. It's great.
One click. And I do want to say thank you to Caroline and the rest of our admin team to help us really make sure that it's one click and that we're staying accountable on there, transparent.
I find this so much better. Just sitting here looking at it. Things are moving. Look. Oh, and I think that's what missing. I went into this before. It was static. And people want to see action. They're used to seeing action. And I think they're more likely to capture them. Well, I wonder what that little boy is doing riding the bike. Now, it draws you in much better than a set of static. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. That's a huge compliment.
So you think you are just changing continuous basis or just the 3-4 pictures just there, like the videos, whatever is moving there? Maybe more every month you have to be change that, then is more exciting.
That is a
Otherwise, we can see all the time the same thing, right?
absolutely no, absolutely. And I love that feedback. Again, now this website is so much easier to update. So I could go in there, change some clips around, update it. We are thinking about potentially changing the videos as we're doing more like campaigns. So to make it an agency-wide thing, maybe as CV Camp progresses, maybe we have an exciting update for CV Camp. And then for the next month, our homepage video is all Coyote Valley images and it's directing people to there. So yeah, lots of opportunities to do some like promotional branded stuff with the video.
No, thank you. Do we have any public comment?
They're not.
Okay. Well, thank you again, Anne Marie.
Thank
That
you so
was
much.
Fabulous. And I believe that understanding how to work involved and kudos. And then you're still smiling.
now I'm done. So now I'm really happy to smile. Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right, and the next item. We have is the approval of appointment of Lisana Dominguez as the District 6 representative to the Citizens Advisory Committee to fill a remainder of a 2-year term ending on June 30, 2025. Carolyn?
Good evening, directors. Caroline Hernandez again, clerk of the board. Tonight staff is presenting a recommendation to approve an appointment for Lisana Dominguez as the representative for District 6 to fill the remainder of a 2-year term on the CAC that ends on June 30th, 2025. And so that's our recommendation for tonight. A little bit of background, the CAC is comprised of 50 members, 7 district representatives appointed by our directors, and 8 at-large representatives who are nominated by the Administration and Budget Committee. Terms of appointments are for 2 years, and the terms begin on July 1st through July 30th. For this particular vacancy, the district seat has been vacant since February 15th, 2024, when the authority received the notice of resignation from then member Raymond Mueller. The vacancy was noticed on the website and an announcement went out in a few local publications. And per our board policy, BRD 22, the Citizens Advisory Committee Handbook of Guidelines and Responsibilities, any unplanned vacancies are to be posted publicly for a minimum of 45 days. So we've met our requirement. The authority received an application from Lisana Dominguez on January 17th, 2025. So very recently, the staff verified that the address listed on the application is within the District 6 boundary. And if approved, the applicant will be filling the remainder of the current term, which ends on June 30th, 2025. However, the applicant could request reappointment based on the procedures outlined in our handbook for reappointment. And our applicant is not here today. She was invited, but I guess couldn't make it. But her application and qualifications are in the packet.
Director Potter, do you want to add anything?
Yes, thank you. I have been, I felt bad not having my appointment, my seat to have a representation on the CAC, but I really feel like I found the right person and appreciate and I know she'll do a great job.
Is that a motion?
So I'd like to move this item
I just second.
enthusiastically.
Okay.
Not as enthusiastic as Anne Marie, but I'm doing my best.
I'll take
That's hard to top.
Yeah, that's hard to top. Yeah. Since the applicant isn't here, so.
While I'm doing this, would you like to take any public comments?
Sure. Do we have any public comment on this item?
Other than that.
Okay, all right, so we have a motion to approve the appointment of Lisana Dominguez to the District 6 seat on the CAC, moved by Director Potter with a second by Director Gill.
Director Flaher,
Yes.
Director Chapman,
Yes.
Director Sutherland,
Yes.
Director Alexander,
Yes.
Director Potter,
Yes.
Director Gill.
Yes.
Right, that motion passes unanimously. All right. Director Potter, you can let her know. Texting her right now. Oh, that's it. Okay, our next item is an update on the expenditure plan oversight committee. I'm looking at the room there. Lee will be presenting.
Actually, good evening, directors. Lee Rauscher, Assistant General Manager. This year, we have passed along the primary liaison duty for the EPOC or Expenditure Plan Oversight Committee to Elizabeth Loretto, and so I am going to pass the mic over.
Thank you. Good evening, directors. Elizabeth Loretto, Administrative Operations Manager. Our expenditure oversight or EPOC met just this Tuesday and did their kickoff meeting for the annual cycle of reviewing our fiscal year 23-24 audit and transactions. They are a raucous good time and as they identify what projects they're most interested in, but very amenable going through the process, and they are underway now with their tasks and will be working for these next couple of months on doing their analysis. But the other exciting thing that happened at that committee meeting was we had an applicant to join that committee named Dennis Watson, who was able to attend, is a local resident in this, I believe, general Santa Teresa area, but one of the existing committee members put that vacancy on Nextdoor. So we've seen lots of really great ways for committee members to find their way to us recently. So that'll be coming your way at, I believe, your February board meeting to consider that application to appoint him. And that would be really great. Currently, the committee's at 4 out of 7. So that would really go a long way to help bring that committee back to kind of its full intention of spreading that work around. So yeah, they are underway and all went well.
Oh, and through the chair, I just wanted to add, we had a committee meeting today, a special meeting of the ABC, and that didn't make it onto the agenda, but would you like to add something or comment about that?
I just would like to inform our illustrious board that we have 2 very well qualified applicants for the CAC. And because they are both very well qualified, we are going to bring that item for the full board to interview and hear from them, and we'll decide that in February. That was pretty much the ABC committee, yes. Thank you.
They are both actually at large. Yeah.
We were very excited, both very well qualified. Okay, informational reports, General Manager.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple items, and I'll pass it on to my colleagues. The first one, I just want to give a shout out. You just saw a tremendous presentation tonight about the new website. But there are other things coming out of communications that I'm equally excited about. And if you checked out your newest newsletter this week, you will see a header there for the release of the 2024 impact report. I think it's just an outstanding, I don't know what to call it. It's not a document so much as a story map. It's an experience really that takes you through all that the Open Space Authority has accomplished in 2024. And so I want to give a shout out to Charlotte and her team. It's very well drafted. It's beautiful to look at. It's engaging. And we want to work on a way to have you as board members and our CAC members get people connected through a QR code, through leave behind collateral pieces, so that no matter where you're going, you can immediately connect people to the Open Space Authority, and they can take just a short little ride, or they can go for the full ride on the website. But anyway, I'm just really excited about that. Secondly, you probably heard a little bit, but there are some important leadership transitions going on with some of our sister agencies, including at the Peninsula Open Space Trust and County Parks. So just yesterday, the official transition happened at the Peninsula Open Space Trust. Gordon Clark has taken over for Walter Moore. After a long career at Post, Walter is stepping down, although he'll stay on to do some work with Post over the next year. But Gordon Clark has also been, I think, with the Post about 20 years? Yeah, anyway, wonderful individual, and we're going to be meeting with him just to see what his style and his priorities will be with Post going forward. But I don't expect any change in terms of Post support and partnership with the Open Space Authority. And then, as you probably well know, there's a new search going on for a county parks director with the retirement of Don Rocha. And the interim director is Joseph Joey Aguilera. So a lot of transitions happening around us. So we'll keep you informed as that kind of stuff comes our way.
Thirdly, we have some upcoming meetings in the next few days with PG&E and LS Power. Meeting with PG&E tomorrow. We're hoping to make progress on agreements to co-locate LS Power at the Metcalf substation. It's owned by PG&E, rather than have LS Power develop its so-called Grove terminal on green fields in the Coyote Valley on Monterey Road. So there's an openness in the dialogue right now, and you know, we'll see how that goes and we'll report back. And then finally, as you know, starting in February, your board will meet once a month. So your board meeting will be on February 27th, and Mark and I will be bringing a very important agenda item to that meeting. We're going to be rolling into one item, a briefing on the election results and trends around the region and state as they affect conservation and protection of the environment. We're going to give you a status of the funding measure feasibility research, including financial sustainability work that we've been doing over the past many months with the ad hoc committee of the board. We'll give you a briefing on planned focus groups. And we will seek board direction to proceed with a public opinion survey, likely in late March and into April, to get input on the OSA's priorities. And then lastly, we're going to give a presentation on our draft expenditure plan as we look toward the potential for a future funding measure for this agency. Mark?
Yeah, thank you. Mark Landgraf, Assistant General Manager. Just a quick update on some public funding sources. So for those of you following the news out of Washington, D.C., you might be aware there are several executive orders that have come from our newly inaugurated president, one of which affects puts a delay, a pause on funding from the Inflation Reduction Act and from the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act. Both of those could affect future requests for funding. So we're tracking that through our consultants in DC. But I want to reassure you that the funding for specific grant awards through HUD, the Housing and Urban Development Department, as well as through FEMA, those are secure. Those have not been delayed. In fact, just this evening, we received a fully executed grant award letter and a grant agreement from HUD for the $800,000 that was provided thanks to Congressman Jimmy Panetta for accessibility improvements in the Coyote Valley Open Space Preserve. So that is moving forward, especially with that news just tonight. At the state level, wanted to mention, you know, we as I think was mentioned earlier tonight, there is a proposal for a $3 million appropriation in the next budget year for Prop 4 into our Coyote Valley Conservation Program. At this point, it's just a proposal. The budget will be finalized in June, but we're hoping that that moves forward. We have heard that there's a possibility some of those Prop 4 appropriations could be largely focused on LA fire recovery. And, you know, our hearts go out to those affected by the fires. And we would understand if that happens, but we want to track that as well and make sure that they're aware that, you know, there are needs for funding up here as well. And we have every intention to spend funding that comes to us through that program, as well as through Wildlife Conservation Board and Coastal Conservancy appropriations that could come to us through grants. So that's my update.
Thanks, Mark. Aaron, anything to report?
Just real quick, Aaron Aber, Natural Resources Manager. I wanted to share a little bit about an event I went to yesterday with some of my staff. This is it's a little salon or get together put on by the Santa Cruz Mountain Stewardship Network. And we're one of, 25 members or so organizations that are part of the Stewardship Network. And like the name suggests, we get together and talk about stewardship. And that's obviously something Derek and I care a lot about. This event was called Finding Joy at Work, even when times are hard. And, it was a really great event because, a lot of folks in my field shared their stories of trying to preserve the environment, even when the climate's changing, even when we're addressing a biodiversity crisis. I was struck particularly by the number of stories from my peers and friends that were about the CZU fires from 2020. Even though it's, 4.5, 5 years ago at this point, so many of them had their professional lives, if not their personal lives, really upended by that fire. And of course, many of us are still thinking about what's going on in LA right now. So, this is the work we do. And it was a great event to talk about what's hard, but also how we find joy in this environment.
Thanks, Aaron. Elizabeth, Charlotte, anything more? No? Okay, thank you.
Legal counsel.
No board manager.
Okay. All right, board member reports. Director Flaher? Director Sutherland? I have a question, and then I think I texted, Mark about this, which this year certainly started off with a bang. I mean, I don't know how much more we could pack into January, but, the battery storage fire, is a concern, and I don't, I'm just wondering, are we tracking that too as well? Because I mean, there has been conversations about putting battery storage in Coyote Valley, and now this is, to see that on fire and unable to put out the fire, that's a big concern.
Thank you so much for bringing that up. We're following that very closely. It's concerning. The threat of battery storage fires was what prompted John Laird and other members of the state assembly and so on to get together and pass a bill that required emergency response plans to be developed for battery storage. And from what I understood, apparently the Moss Landing location, PG&E submitted an emergency response plan for its property, but not to the full county. And then Vistra, which was the site of a 300 megawatt battery plant that burned, their emergency response plan didn't include the specter of that type of catastrophic fire. And so, as you probably saw in the news, the governor has called for an investigation, and the County Board of Supervisors has asked Vistra to cease operations until some investigation can be done. So we plan to reach back out to Laird's office to talk to him about this, because it's a concern we have for the prospect of battery storage in and around the Coyote Valley tied to the increase in electricity transmission. When we first started monitoring LS Power, over 2 years ago now, there was no talk about battery storage. But since then, as we know, a very large battery storage company called AES Battery Storage secured an option over the property at the corner of Santa Teresa and Bailey. And what we understand is there's a plan there to submit an application to the California Energy Commission under, what is the bill, Mark, AB 205? That would circumvent the general plan of San Jose and allow the California Energy Commission to directly approve a project like that. And that bill was introduced to allow private landowners on appropriately zoned sites to proceed with energy generation, because obviously battery storage is really needed in California. But it wasn't really planned to be put on open space and agricultural lands. And from our conversations directly with the city of San Jose, they would much rather see battery storage near the airport, near the water treatment plant, and not in the Coyote Valley. So we're monitoring, even as late as today, we checked the website of the California Energy Commission. There's been no formal application turned in for battery storage in or around the Coyote Valley. However, one of our consultants just delivered this week to us some information coming directly out of the California Public Utilities Commission, a new report coming out showing where battery storage will be happening likely across California to meet the energy storage needs. And it shows one in the Metcalf area. But their opinion is it's still, the need for that is years away, probably. But we just want to make sure that we're keeping the city council members, the city manager's office up to date, and that we're really monitoring this. Because we could work really hard and reach an agreement with PG&E and LS Power to co-locate, only to have a plethora of battery storage happening. The Vistra Fire was a 300 megawatt battery storage plant. And that's what's called for in the CPUC report for the Metcalf area. Same size. So anyway, thank you for bringing it up. It's really, really important that we track this. And one of the consultants that we've brought on has worked for the PUC and the CEC and the Nature Conservancy, and showing us some really important data and mapping of the area that we didn't have, and certainly the planning department at the city of San Jose doesn't have. So we've got some really good people working for us now that can help ask those hard questions.
Yeah, I think those are questions that need to be asked, you know, what's the backup plan, because the thought of trying to put out a fire in that area, you know, again.
I mean, 1,500 people evacuated at that fire.
And you just have to let it burn.
Yeah, they said there was chocolate smoke, you know, all the way up to Santa Cruz and that area, so you can imagine that would impact the city of San Jose. I did also read that I think there's, I was notified too, that I think the mayor's office is looking at, because of the wildfires in Los Angeles, looking at and asking the emergency services department to look at, you know, what their wildfire plan is, probably driven by residents in the Basking Ridge area because of, you know, what happens if, and so, you know, that's top of mind, and, you know, the battery storage, I think those two should be connected.
On the wildfire front, we're going to be convening a small team at OSA to have that conversation. I've heard other agencies are starting to put their talking points together, what their agency is going to be focused on with respect to wildfire, and I fully expect we'll be asked the same. So
it may be an opportunity for our agency to kind of share some of the practices that we're doing in terms of vegetation management and removal of invasive species and that type of thing, which doesn't really come to the city of San Jose Parks Department very often.
Right. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Okay.
No report.
Director Potter.
I had a couple, and one, I was with a friend yesterday from the Salinas area, and he cautioned that be very careful about eating produce from that area for the next several months because of the impact of the smoke. So if you think about all of the ag we're trying to preserve and restore in Coyote Valley and South County, only to have a battery thing come in and could wipe out a season of crops among, you know, terrible catastrophe. So it just, the incompatibility of battery storage with local ag might be an angle to look at as well. And then I was reaching out to someone on the Santa Teresa foothills, one of our favorite neighborhood associations, and there's an issue that's percolating there involving the Alamitos Canal maintenance road that occasionally used as a not legal trail, depending on your perspective. And they had a question about the process for them to request docent tours of the Miracle Mile property and the Byford property. So I just wanted to raise that and just to check into who should I send them to, or what's the best way to do that? Whoever is appropriate. I'm not sure.
I actually yesterday did attend the water commission meetings because I'm an alternate. Mike Flower is sick and he did not attend that meeting. actually they did the new officers election yesterday. And the chair is a Pete Daly. I think he's a city of Los Altos council members. And then the vice chair is a Karen Hardy, city of Santa Clara, I think the council member. So they have couple very important agenda items there. The first one is they have the actually 2025 and 2026 groundwater production charges. So they are going to be increase the water rate. So it's really a big discussion, but I will tell you what is the rate they are going to be projection to be increased. Usually they just divided the whole Santa Clara County into two divisions. One is called North County and then the South County. South County, they are going to be increased 9.9%, meaning $7.60 average monthly bill. So it's really a big increase. Then the South County, they divided into three zonal areas, W5, W7, and W8. W5, they just has 7.9% increase, meaning $1.58 average monthly bill. That's actually the 1500 CCS per month. That is they have their calculation, meaning I think maybe 1 CCS is equal to 100 cubic feet. If I'm not wrong, Mike might knows more than me about that because he's working there. And then the South County W7 is 11.2%, meaning $2.89 average monthly bill. And then the South County W8 mean 8% increase, mean $1.18 increase the average monthly bill. There is an agriculture parts there also, even though that they increase 8%, but they have the, I think maybe discount or something, only 53 cents they are going to be increased every month. So there are big discussion on that one. Yesterday, every commissioners, they are asking, they have the problem when they just go to the community, or they are asking why they increase that. Then their answer was there is an infrastructure. They are just paying that and then their operation cost. That's why. And the reason, I think maybe I understand that the Water Valley currently has 10 reservoirs. If I'm not wrong, 393 acres of recharge ponds, 142 miles of pipelines, 3 water treatment plants, 1 water purification center, and 3 pump stations. They're all whatever the maintenance or I mean the operation cost, they are just including that. That's the main reason they are going to be increased that. But everybody requests them to just go revisit and then reconsider that. If they can reduce that increment, then is really appreciate further. And maybe the next meeting they are going to be do something. Actually, the other one is a water supply master plan. So this is just the amendment. They already make the presentation in the previous meetings as well. But the main thing is that is a 24,000 acres feet per year by 2023. That's a portable reused goal. They are just projecting, and then 32,000 acres feet per year by 2050. So that's they just make a little bit amendment. That's a continual basis. They are going to be updated whenever they feel that they have to be changed something. They have one Silicon Valley Advanced Water Purification Center. So they request the community, they can come, they have the free tour there. So, but they need 10 or more people in one group. That's a free, they can go and then bring there. If anybody want, then I have this pamphlet, so anybody can take, and then if If they want to be do that, please do. And then they have the website and then the phone number, also call them and then make appointment for them. That's all. Thank you very much.
There are no other reports. We are now adjourned.